Shalom, Yashrala. This is your brother Dawud from GMSTAMPABAY07, coming at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone that taught me this truth and that ruled well. And salutation and much love for y'all. Keep pushing this truth with sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions. All right, we're going to jump into this here lesson dealing with basically refraining from the world, refraining from the glitz and the glamours of this world. There's going to be a lot of so-called temptations in this world right now for basically to blind you. We in real serious times at the very end, and it's time to stay focused. It's like you're down to the last seconds of the game, man. You got to stay focused before anything goes in the wrong favor. And so right now it's like some of the sports games, let's say basketball, they have those things that look like those noodles that go in pools or whatever, where they fanning them behind the goalpost, trying to distract the person from shooting the ball. There's a lot on the line right at that moment, so he's got to try to concentrate, focus, and make that shot. But the people in the background trying to distract him, trying to throw him off. And that's basically what you have going on right here, right now, We're in such dire times, it's very critical for us to stay focused and watch these prophecies come into pass, But then at the same time, Esau knows he has but a short time, so he's pulling out all the stops. And, not always is that going to come in a so-called bad form, just coming out killing people, Esau doesn't necessarily have to just do that, sometimes, it's a lot easier, cheaper, and, it could be a lot more effective, for Esau to actually so-called bless, let's say, basically bless Jake, these basically the 2/3, So you see all these young rappers and stuff like that coming out because they got the internet now, they get blown up on I don't know if they get blown up on Facebook or whatever platform they get blown up on, probably YouTube. But, these people get blown up or whatever, right? And so you start to see so think back to the 90s when Tupac was around, right? We actually had an abundance of rappers, but you didn't have as many rappers as you had now, especially as many young rappers now, Most rappers now, if you 25 coming in the game, you like an old head or old rapper, A lot of these young kids are having these so-called they go into these little things, whatever they do in their little entertainment thing, whether they get big off of little videos or whatever, whatnot, music, rapping, whatever, they getting big off of these things and how do I say amassing fame and fortune, so-called fortune, and in reality it's all illusions. A lot of these people all still put up facades. Actually, when you go into those the money those musicians, the actual rappers and stuff make, they don't really make what people actually think they making, but nevertheless the illusion of it draws more and more people into it, is what I'm trying to get at. So now we at the best time for so-called 2/3 of Jake right now, to want to go do all these different things, get distracted, because Esau wants to distract you from coming to this truth, And so you have to be mindful of these things, You have to be mindful of all these different, temptations that are around, or not just scenarios like that, where it comes to rapping, It could be just any and everything else in life, You could just be riding around, how we live, We just basically, how does the scripture say, sojourners, We just passing through a foreign land, more or less to say, We don't really have anything set up and established here, You see some people here have their own house. They just, you might have friends or people you work with around your age or whatever, whatnot, starting to buy houses and getting married and things like that and buying nice new things. And then you just man, damn, they so-called enjoying life. Don't get intertwined with all that, because see, what you have to understand is that's that distraction. All right. That's that distraction to keep you asleep from what's really going on and not seeing this here truth that's behind you, Yeah, you in your flesh. And so sometimes, you might start feeling a certain type of way towards certain things, but you have to constantly remind yourself what time we in. We in battle season time. We at wartime right now. And so the moment you take your eye off of the target, that's when you get taken out the game. And not to confuse this with being a false balance or anything like that. You have to even yourself out. But as far as letting that sink into your mind, let me go and do this and go do that, because, you'll be feeling a certain type of way, based off of, let's say, emotions. Let's say, oh man, I'm always riding around in this old raggedy ass car and How come I can't go get a nice new car? You know? Okay, well, now you go get a nice new car, and now you got to make a payment. So now you got to go a bigger payment. Now you got to go and work actually more hours. Now you're spending less time, in the truth, less time with the Lord, So those types of things are nothing more than just distractions to pretty much distract you from this here truth. Whether it be that an old lady, a woman, any and everything, going out with your friends. You know what I'm saying? It don't necessarily have to be a so-called job like being a rapper or a sports, being in the sports leagues or anything like that. Not saying that, not any of those things are necessarily, really going off, more or less to say, from doing. It's not really wrong to do a lot of those things, but, there's all things are lawful, but not all things are expedient, Certain things, there's nothing wrong with buying a house. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with buying a new car. But again, for the example that I gave, okay, now you want to go buy a new car, more expensive car. Now you got to actually make a higher payment or something like that. So now you have to work more hours just to pay for this car, this house. And now you spend less time in the truth. Or now you stressing about how you paying your bills and all this extra shit that you got popping off. And you know what I'm saying? You don't have time for the Lord, So you have to kind of cast that off. That's that part of that old man that you need to get rid of, all right? So I'm going to actually jump into the scriptures here. I've been babbling on for a while. That's what this is. Time clock's down here for, to tell me to keep it moving. But nevertheless, this is the book of 1 John chapter 2 and verse 15. It says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Okay? It says, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but of the world. Okay, so the pride of life, and the lust of your eyes and all that is of this world. That's not like nothing spiritual. All that stuff is more or less physical. Is gonna pass away at some point in time. It's like a trend. You all infatuated with, I gotta go buy the brand new Bugatti, or we're gonna keep it normal. We're gonna go buy the brand new Escalade that came out. Well, in about 4 years, they're going to change the body mode on it, and it ain't going to be all that you worked for. But see, in them 4 years, you didn't fill up out the truth. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's not expedient. It's not, that's more or less of the flesh, not of spirit of the Father. It says, all these are of the world. Okay. But going back up, it says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Like I was explaining, prime example, again, with the car, you go buy you a new car, when how you working, you put in extra work, extra time to go, overtime and extra time at work to make this car payment. You're doing all that extra shit for this car that you want, but what? That's of the world. Why don't you put in extra time for the Lord, doing extra work for him, So you can't necessarily, it's got to be, one or the other in this scenario. You're going to either serve the Lord or you're going to serve the world. All right. The scripture say you can't have two masters. You're going to either love one and then start to hate the other one. This is the book of Micah chapter 2 verse 10. It says, arise and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with the sword destruction. So it says, arise, depart. This is not your rest. All right. What is not your rest? This here world or the society that we living in, this ain't your rest. I mean, I can't really speak on the other nations and the other countries. I was going to say, this even to the, the ones that are scattered abroad, but again, I can't quite tell you how they living in those countries as far as economically wise. But as far as here in Babylon, you know what I'm saying? Again, it's like a high chance or, it's high time for, like, especially young Jake, those 2/3 type of Jakes to really make some kind of money in this world as far as with entertainment and shit. All they need is a cell phone and some kind of gimmick, There's an abundance of these new little rappers that's coming out with all kind of new little shit, doing all kind of crazy shit, or not even really rappers. They just getting on the internet. They got, they had that one girl, the Cash Me Out girl. She became a rapper after becoming some shit off of the internet, just like little videos and shit like that. So, and then there was a couple other little kids that was doing some stuff like that. So, this is a time where it's like high time for sleep for these 2/3. It's easy to get caught up in all that limelight, but then again, it's also easy to not be caught up in that limelight, but then seeing somebody or seeing the world that's in that limelight, and then you start to, how do I say, want to know what it's like on the other side of the fence, more or less to say. But when you have to understand is you was already on the other side of the fence before you came into this truth. you know, and then you was wanting for something more while you was out there. You was starting to look for truth. You wanted something higher than the little petty shit that you had. All right. Those people are asleep. They don't understand it. You know, they searching for something. They don't even quite know what they're looking for. They're looking for that not endless high, but unachievable high. That's why they keep going out all the time and clubbing and partying, trying to chase basically that next little high. I'm trying to find happiness, excitement. All right. But it says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. All right. This ain't your spot where you can just sit back and kick it and just enjoy life. All right. Now, not to say that, you know, we're not going to be simple, because, you know, I mean, hell, you should be enjoying life as far as knowing if you in this here truth, you should be enjoying that part about life. You see what I'm saying? And enjoying the fact that we about to get salvation. You see what I'm saying? But as far as how these Babylonians do it, going out splurging, vacation all the goddamn time, different country. Every other month's a different country. Every other month is a different type of vacation, whether it be a cruise or whatever, whatnot. You know, it's easy to just be like, damn, you know, maybe I I might need to, you know, relax a little bit and go do this and that. Hey man, you don't want to take your eye off the road for 1 second, you know. But again, you know, there's balance in this thing, all right? But as far as in the big picture, you got to understand that this is that distraction that's coming to basically rock you back to sleep, all right? That's why it's important to basically just continue, stay sober-minded, as the scriptures say, all right? Stay focused and understand on where you at and what's going on around you, because the moment that you take your eye off the road, you know what I'm saying? It's like a trucker, you know, driving with a gas tanker, you know? The moment you start dozing off, you know what I'm saying, and you doze off for just 1 split second, that could be the end of your life and somebody else's life, you know? That's basically how this here thing is, you know? We tasked with a mighty job, you know, to feed the Lord's elect. We out here, we supposed to be a God unto them, you know? We supposed to show them the way. But if we go to sleep behind the road, you know what I'm saying, and then we wind up crashing, if we wind up crashing the Lord's sheep truck with all his sheep in there, and then, hey man, that's not going to be a good cause on us, because why? We decided to go to sleep in this so-called dream world, back into the world we was already in. No, we need to wake back up and be sober-minded, all right? This is the book of St. John, chapter 15, verse 18. It says, if the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. All right. And so, yeah, sometimes, you know, people are going to kind of look at you weird because, you know, again, you have to, how do I say, be a Clark Kent versus Superman. You know, you can't, this ain't your rest, you know, this not for you to go out there and so-called enjoy and this and that, you know, in your spare time, you know, you need to be doing these types of things, you know, but then people might sometimes look at you a little funny or call you a square, you know, like, for instance, right here, right now at this here moment, you know, like I explained at the beginning of the video, you know, got more important things to do, you know, in life, you know, but, at this here moment, you know, it could be like, all right, my phone could be blowing up. I got a bunch of worldly friends that want to go hey man, let's go hang out. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. Or some women trying to hit me up like, yo, why don't you come over? Why don't you do this or do that? You know? And then I respond to their text. Oh no, can't do that right now. I need to, you know, preach the Lord's word and put up a video, you know? What do you think their response is going to be? Oh, this nigga lame. Or this nigga, man, why don't you quit with that bullshit? You know, people going to say these types of things to you, you know? People going to be like this to you sometimes, you know? But, you know, hey, you have to understand, for one, you know, most of the time, that be those demons that just be them 2/3 ass demons, you know? But then sometimes you could also be around like a friend, a worldly friend, you know? Or family members where, you know, they might start hating you at first, but then you also a God or a light unto them. They start with the talking and shit, but then slowly but surely you start seeing them pick up traits that that you doing. You know, oh no, I don't eat pork either. You know, I don't do this or I don't do that. Well, what you was talking about with this or what you was talking about with that, you know? Sometimes that happens, but most of the time, you know, when you out here in this world, people they're going to be their spirit is at odds with your spirit, you know? I get, and all right, for a prime example, you know, all you Aki need to understand this, you know? I mean, like, I get the perfect example of this shit every damn day at work, but, you know, and just everywhere else I am, but I'm also just very keen and aware to, like, you know, the spirits are there, you know? So, but you have to understand that for the most part, like we vessels, like the scriptures say, you know? But you got, again, these two different types of spirits, the good spirits and the bad spirits. If you being a good spirit, these bad spirits is trying to distract you because we in the game. You over here making the free throw line, all right? And we tied. We don't need you to make this your point, all right? We trying to win. You know, that's their mindset. That's their motive and their mission. All right. So you have to understand that, you know, being around all right, so the real example is at work. When I'm at work, the people at work don't know that I go out and preach. They don't know anything that I'm, you know, pertaining to the truth. You know, now when I was early off in there, you know, I used to talk about a lot of things, you know, or quote, well, in the Bible they say this, or in the Bible they say that, you know, and made a couple mistakes by trying to show a couple people at work certain things, you know. But nevertheless, you know, more or less they didn't forget about all of that. But nevertheless, they don't quite know what I do at work. So it's not like some, you know, oh, we gonna just treat you like shit because we know you out there preaching the word. No, it's not like quite like that. But I will say, you know, a lot of the times if you do that, then, you know, a lot of these people are going to be cut already because they already know what they're doing in their life contradicts what's in the scripture. So they might feel some type of way. But nevertheless, back at my job, you know, these people don't know that I do this directly, you know. And now we have this thing at my job, some you know, long story short, you know, where I made a deal with my job. First of all, we're only supposed to work 5 days a week, but we on some slave ass shit at work where they working us 6 and 7 days a week, you know, multiple 12-hour shifts. And the nerve of these damn Edomites today, not trying to get too off topic. They was like, damn, why y'all just standing around doing nothing? Like, bitch, because we tired. We tired of working all the goddamn time. We not lazy. We just tired. Y'all work us like fucking slaves. But nevertheless, you know, you know, the people at my job, it seems like I'm the ugly stepchild of my damn job. You know, it's not because I'm rude or mean to anybody. I don't really say anything to anybody. We work around a lot of heavy machinery, so you really ain't talking to too many people like that, you know, like having full-blown conversations, you know. But, you know, I do stand up for truth when somebody be trying to, like, you know, shit on me about something, change that. They like to change up the rules a lot, but, you know, I notice I get a lot of the bad end of the stick, you know. But I wouldn't say that these people personally do these things out of personal ill will. I would say they wouldn't know why they do it. But again, it's these spirits that's inside of them. They're just vessels, you know. These spirits come through and they fucking with you, you know. But you can't, you know what I'm saying, take it on the carnal sense. Well, fuck it, if I, like at work, well, I just screw off like how they screw off. Well, no, you gonna get caught because, see, them spirits understand what's really going on. They just 2/3 with them damn spirits. They all in league with one another. So they over there fucking off with each other. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna say shit to you, but to them, but they gonna say something to you. They gonna always ride your case and they gonna always blame you. All right. So you have to understand that, you know, like the scriptures say in verse 18, this is John chapter 15, verse 18. If the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world, okay, if you was them 2/3, just like the mother ass spirits, all right, the world would love its own. All right. Those, again, you only got these two types of spirits, basically. You ain't got no in between. All right. You got good and bad, you know. And it says, if you were of the world, the bad spirits, the world would love its own. All right. But because you are not of the world, okay, you on the other side, but I have chosen you out of the world. Okay. You was once in the world, but you was taken up out of the world, you know. And then a lot of these people sometimes they're like, hey, bro, you want to come hang out? Nah, I got, you know, I'm busy. I'm doing something. Are you too good for us now? Well, you know, I was a part of you at one point in time, and then the Lord did, you know, pull me up out of that and brought me up on a higher level as far as we ain't doing things that's pertaining to death no more. You know, we doing things that walking towards light nowadays. You know, we working on salvation. You know, so I would say that I'm in a better state as far as where my soul go. I ain't marching towards death. You know, so but they understand that. You know, but they don't understand that. These spirits understand that in them. All right, but you have to understand that. You basically dealing with these spirit realms, and don't try to take this so-called personal when you see shit like this happening. All right. Don't be envying them. All right. It says, I'll read it again. Verse 19. It says, if you were of the world would love its own, but because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. All right. And so these people can't quite understand why they're against me or whatever, whatnot at work or at my household or wherever it is I am, you know, or the rest of you brothers. Like I said, you brothers, you know, a lot of you brothers catch a lot of hell here and there, left and right, and don't quite know why, you know, or some of it you might sometimes bring on yourself because you might be at work again, you know, you might think that Randy just fucking with you. So you go over there and you start fucking with Randy, you know, and you mad and you hate Randy. Be like, nah, man, it ain't Randy. It's that spirit that's inside of Randy. So you over here, you know, trying to backlash against that. You ain't going to beat that demon that way. All right. You got to try to fight that demon a different way. All right. According to the book of Ephesians, man, you can't try to fight him carnally. All right. This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 9. It says, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. All right. But, not necessarily getting into the kill part, which that is still coming, that's what it's going to be overall when this thing, heightens, it's different levels to this, I'm just speaking on a real light level as far as in this here world, just dealing with the people you walk around and, pass by here and there, you have to understand that, it's a battle right now between these two different sides, they look like they're getting everything good right now, they getting all the so-called luxuries of life, the so-called blessings in life, or they just getting by. Like I said, they could be on a job, a bunch of lazy ass people doing nothing, and they always getting praised or whatever, whatnot, and getting the so-called perks of the job while you over here actually doing all the damn work and you getting treated like Cinderella man, but you got to understand it's not just because you are whoever, what your government name is. It ain't because of that. It's the spirits that's what's inside and at the times that we in, it's a straight and narrow path, as the scriptures say. Let me grab, this is the conclusion of it. All right. It says, Psalm 73 says, a psalm of Asaph, truly Yahweh is good to Israel, even to such that are clean heart. All right. As far as being a clean heart, that's walking in the spiritual, in the spiritual path. All right. That means you gotta, how do I say? It means like a clean mind. But as far as with this wickedness, you're not blinded by all this wickedness and the bullshit that's going on. You understand, the importance of following after these laws, statutes, commandments, and following after what the Lord has commanded of us. It says, verse 2, but as for me, my feet were almost gone and my step had well nigh slipped. All right. So again, you could be either in a condition where you're not in this truth, but you coming into this truth or whatever, whatnot, or you just not even in this direction, but you getting blinded by the so-called light of the world, maybe a football, whatever, you getting into the league or whatever, whatnot, or parties, bullshit, whatever it is, you became a rapper or whatever, whatnot. You all, how do I say, distracted by those things, all right? But, your foot might almost slip because you didn't got caught up in that. You don't really see what's really, really coming. All right. It says, but as for me, my feet were almost gone and my steps had well nigh slipped. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. All right. So you little Ray Ray, and little Ray Ray ain't all that bad. Little Ray Ray about 12 or 13, but he looking around him, seeing the condition of himself and his family and whatever, whatnot, and he trying to figure out how to make some money. So he looked to his idols and his leaders, his role models, and who do he got? He got like 50 Cent or whoever the rappers are nowadays. We're not going to use 50 Cent. Whoever getting blown up off the internet, them new little niggas getting blown up off the internet. He see them niggas and he be like, okay, I'm going to do what they did because they really made it from nothing to something, just based off of their cell phone and the thing. Now they just known by everybody. So what Lil Ray Ray do? Lil Ray Ray start rapping, the so-called do whatever he got to go do because he blinded by the so-called success of these young internet rappers or whatever, whatnot, or he say he see these he watch ESPN, he know this football player make X amount of dollars, so he go through school to, whole mind is focused on that football career for what, to save his life and not have to be the way he's supposed to be, but instead of going about it through the Lord, or any and everything else, you can fit that in with anything and everything else, whatever people have in their life, whether it be a job, I'm going to go on this job and try to work my way up to the top and do this and that and get a 6-figure income or whatever, whatnot, and so on and so forth, and then all of a sudden you didn't, not to say wasted away your life, but you wasted your time, because you was blinded, you was distracted the whole time. All right. And again, not saying that, it's not evil to have a 6-figure income or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But you get what I'm saying. If that's what your thriving, your push is in life, that's, you can't, like, hey, if you love the world, you ain't got the love of the Father in you. All right. This should be your priority. It says, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked, for there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. All right. So, like, give me 1 second. It says there is no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. All right. And so one of the things like Esau and these Edomites, a lot of us Jake can attain to this, growing up, these Edomites, they have things passed down unto them. They have inheritance passed down unto them. They got their parents' house or whatever, whatnot, and some money passed down a trust fund. But us, we ain't got nothing like that. So we got to hustle, and that's why a lot of Jake is doing the shit that they doing, wanting to be rappers and all that, because, hey, they trying to make it, trying to get some money, all right, trying to live a way better lifestyle, all right. It says they're not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men, They're not really in financial straits or whatever, like the rest of us, they ain't over here on welfare and Section 8. And now we know that they are, but you understand what I'm saying with the bigger pictures, When you see so-called white people got multiple different types and levels of white people in neighborhoods. You got trailer trash, middle class. You got white people live on the beach. You know what I'm saying? You got white people live in mansions. White people live in big-ass houses, lake houses, cabins. They got all kind of different type of white people neighborhoods, so-called white people neighborhoods. You only really got like one type of Jake neighborhood, and that's just really the hood. You know what I'm saying? That's what they be like, oh, we going over to the hood. That's where Jake stay at. Other than that, you have a few Jakes scattered off where everybody else live at. All right? But it says they're not in trouble like other men, neither are they plagued like other men. All right? They don't really have the same, worries like we have in our life, the light bills and this and that, oh man, the light's finna get cut off. We finna get evicted. The car finna get repoed, whatever, whatnot, and a lot of Jake lead to what? Selling drugs and stuff like that. Our women's go to lead to stripping and stuff like that nowadays. All right. And they trying to go get that money. And then we have other Jake, see Jake who out there stripping, flossing their money, and these dope boys flossing their money, and then they want to be like them. So this is the same perpetual cycle, man. They loving the world, instead of loving the Father, and they seeing these little, how do I say, these false saviors being like money and careers and things like that ain't no real help, At the end of the day, that all that shit's gonna burn up as missile food, all right? It says, therefore pride, verse 6, therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. All right. These motherfuckers is walking around. They ain't got no real worries in life. You see what I'm saying? Like the first and foremost, talking about these Edomites. All right. They ain't really worried about too much of shit. They get fired from, being a CEO of the Fortune 500 company. They don't see it as being fired. They're just getting relocated to another department or another business. All right, we get fired as being a janitor in the Fortune 500 company. We just a janitor, but hey, we just like shit. You know what I'm saying? It's a little different. They're not really worried about no shit like that. And then they also walking around like, yo, ain't nothing gonna happen to them. They can. All right, so on the larger scale, Donald Trump and them blowing up the whole goddamn world, like ain't nothing gonna happen. How much more on a smaller scale, these so-called goddamn white people do whatever they want to do and don't even get caught or have to have no worries with no shit like that, And now you have these 2/3 basically doing the same thing, It could even be on the smallest level. Again, like I said, like at your job, you got everybody else fucking off doing nothing, And then, but the boss coming around getting on you about some shit, They like, hey, what's going on over here with this and that? Oh, well, they over there fucking around on their phone, and they over there, they actually gone. They went up front to go chill with they like old lady or some shit. You know what I'm saying? And this other person just, I don't know where the fuck he's at. You know what I'm saying? They over here screaming at you, but you over here trying to maintain all this other shit. Like you ain't even worried about them. It's the same thing here. It says, they're not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment, You always getting in trouble for some shit, or accused over some shit while they just getting by with it. You don't see all of that, but you on my case about this, but you ain't saying shit about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it says, their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. They are corrupt. They speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. This is a prime example of the shit that I have going on at work. We got this one lesbian chick be complaining about how she need a ride from the back where we work. 'Cause it's like a 5-minute walk from where we work at to where we have to go park at, And so she's like, I need a ride up front on a golf cart. I've been here for 12 hours all day. Like, well, yeah, you volunteered to be there 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. But all you doing it goddamn work. You literally sit in the office and talk to another lady all damn day for the first 4 hours. And the other 8 hours of the damn day, you walking around hiding and doing nothing on the back on your phone all goddamn day, But at the end of the night, talking about how tired you are, you work so many hours, you don't really do shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you actually be there 8 hours and doing some real work, your ass gonna be tired off of that, let alone you volunteer to do 12 hours, 7 days a week. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's some retarded shit. But then you complain about, oh, you tired, you know? It says they are corrupt. They speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. You know, these so-called, people that's in this here world. Oh man, somebody just scratched my M5 or whatever, whatnot. They complain about little dumb shit. Like, bro, at least you got a vehicle. A lot of people don't have vehicles right now. You complaining about some bullshit like that? Oh man, they don't have my Lamborghini in this color, or they don't have this, or they don't have that, or they want to offer me this amount of money. Don't worry about the shit that people got going on in their life, and not to say in their life, but these things that they got going on that's pertaining to their lives, and then you being so-called jealous or feel a certain type of way because of these things. Don't be worried about, like, man, how come they get away with this shit and I don't get to get away with it? Or how come they get to live like this and I don't? How come they get the vacation like this and I don't? How come they get all the bad bitches like that and I don't? Hey man, those are all distractions. That's how you got to look at that shit, is they all distractions, man. You don't want to get taken up out this game. It says, they set their mouth against the heavens, their tongue walketh through the earth. Therefore his people return hither, and water is full of cup wrung out. And they say, how does Yahweh know? And their knowledge is in the Most High. Let me see. It says, let me skip down. Verse 17. Until I went to the sanctuary of Yahweh, then I understood their end. Okay. It says, surely thou didst set them in slippery places. Thou cast them into destruction. Hang on. Wait a minute. Let's skip the verse. Actually, I think it might be in a different book. But it says, until I went to the sanctuary of Yahweh, then I understood their end. Surely thou didst set them in slippery places. Thou cast them down into destruction. Why? Because they were blinded. All right. It's actually in a different place in the scriptures where it was like, they don't know, nor do they understand, because they basically blinded. The God of this world has blinded them. All right. It's like, yo, I was tripping because I was over here bugging out because I know this little bitch ass nigga ain't driving no Benz and I work more than him, or this and that, or this nigga got this bitch and I do this and that, or he got this and I'm over here living with so and so. And you looking at all these different things like that, but you got to understand, like it's written here. It's like, yo, until I went to the sanctuary of the Most High, till I opened up these scriptures, understood what they end is. They blinded. All right. They just basically being fed to the slaughter. All right. And you understand they end. They all just missile food. All right. This is that life raft. They all being distracted over there while it's only one seat on the damn life raft and you the only one swimming over there like that. But you got to actually work hard to get to the damn life raft while everybody else is sitting on the goddamn boat. But they don't realize that boat ain't got no motor on it, and the boat has got a goddamn a hole in it. So yeah, they seem like they all comfortable, warm on that damn boat, but slowly but surely that boat's sinking. All right, but you have to swim and work to get out to your little life raft or whatever, and you actually about to catch salvation. All right, it says, until I went to the sanctuary of Yahweh, then understood I their end. Surely thou didst set them in slippery places. Thou castest them down into destruction. How are they brought into desolation, as in a moment they are utterly consumed with terrors? Yeah, because they blinded. All right. As a dream when one waketh, so, O Lord, when thou wakest, thou shalt despise their image. All right. It says, thus my heart was grieved and I was pricked in my reins. All right. And also it says, I was so foolish was I, ignorant that I was a beast. I was a beast before thee. All right. So basically, what he's going into is like, damn, how dumb was I? So if you know anything about the damn Illuminati, right, and the getting to the so-called hip hop and the music and all that shit, right? If you know about that, you would understand like what those rappers go through and why they bug out, And so if you was in their position, and you basically be, how do I say, if you was in their position, already knowing what you know now, and then you basically trying to break it down, like, damn, if I would have known what I know now, I would have had to bend over and get, basically be sodomized to get up in this shit, or basically sodomize some dude to get up in this shit, or even some child, or sacrifice somebody to go do this shit. And I would have to continuously keep doing this shit and keep doing a whole bunch of other crazy shit. If I would have known I had to do this shit for just a little bit of money, I'd be a high class paid, like, prostitute, basically. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what all that shit is. Yeah, we'll shower you with money, but you're going to basically be somebody's bitch, a whole lot of people's bitch. You know, and those people be like, damn, if I would have known what it was really like to be inside the damn music industry, I would have never did this shit. I was grieved. That's fucked up to actually know that. And so it's the same way with these people in this here world, you know? You getting, how do I say, put into a certain type of mind state because you see certain things, you know? Your car might be a little raggedy and putting and this and that and whatever, whatnot. Again, not saying there's nothing wrong with having a new car, nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But if you in you know, living paycheck to paycheck or whatever, whatnot, you gotta just get by with what you gotta get by. And you over here feeling some type of way, you be like, damn, I could be doing all this and that. You know, I could be hustling and I can go get that new car. Don't think like that. Don't think like that. Those are all distractions. You know, all those people, you see those things, you just know that's basically a 2/3 mark. As long as they distracted with the shit that they got, that they playing with, whether it's a woman, a house, car, job, whatever it is, what music contract, whatever it is, you know, oh, look what I'm doing right here, right now. That's they meal ticket to destruction. That's a distraction meal. All right. So, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and close out and drug on a lot longer than I intended on. But, Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakal Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for y'all. I can push this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth. Stay strong. Shalom.